Hello everyone, in this class we'll try to learn about what is brain death. Brain death or brainstem death is a clinical syndrome defined by absence of reflexes with pathways through the brainstem. Brainstem is the stalk of the brain which connects the spinal cord to the midbrain cerebellum, cerebral hemispheres, uh, and whenever damage occurs to this brain stalk, so it leads to brainstem death. It can be diagnosed in a deeply comatose and ventilator dependent patient. Identification of this state carries a very grave prognosis for survival. Cessation of heartbeat often occurs within a few days, although it may continue to work for weeks if intensive support is maintained. The process of death occurs because of the cessation of the neurological function, so that leads to respiratory arrest and cardiac arrest, and cardiac arrest and respiratory arrest in turn leads to neuronal dysfunction that leads to death of all of the cells of the body, that leads to putrefaction. In most important in diagnosis of the death, uh, it is based on the neurological criteria, that is the brain death, and the cardiopulmonary criteria, that is the cardiac death. Prior to the advent of mechanical ventilation, the death was defined as a cessation of circulation and breathing only. Brain death can be brainstem death, neurocortical death, or whole brain death. Brainstem death is where the reduced perfusion occurs to the midbrain, pons, medulla, and reticular activating system. The neocortical death is where only the cognition is lost, voluntary movements are lost, and sensations are lost. And the whole brain death involves the death of the cerebral hemisphere with the brainstem, and it is most widely, it is most widespread death of the brain. Brainstem death is nothing but the absence of brainstem function. Here, cerebral hemispheric activity is still possible, and it is mainly based on the clinical diagnosis. It can it can affect at different levels. It can be midbrain stem death, pons, and medulla. So when only midbrain is allowed, cranial nerve second and third are involved, where there is a loss of pupillary function and eye movements. If it involves only the pons, so there will be involvement of the cranial nerves 4, 5, and 6, where the conjugate movements are lost. And if it involves medulla, the corneal reflexes is involved, is absent. Cranial nerves 9 and 10 are involved, where pharyngeal and tracheal, that is cough reflex and gag reflex, are absent. It may involve the respiration also. Whole brain death is absence of neurological functions of CNS. The cerebral neurological hemispheric activity is not possible in whole brain death. So one has to remember that the brain death is equal to the death of the individual. Okay. So there can be still the cardiac activity with normal heart rate and normal blood pressure, with normal respiration, maintaining saturation up to 100, uh, and maintaining carbon dioxide, but still there is no cerebral activity, and that is the sign of the brain death. The diagnosis of the brain death, there are five easy steps or requirements. The cause of the brain failure is irreversible here. The, the patient is unresponsive, brainstem reflexes are absent, an apnea test shows no breathing, and laboratory tests are not required unless clinical diagnosis is uncertain. The guidelines are different for diagnosis of brain death in infants under 1 year of age. The cause of the brain failure is irreversible, and there should be one of the cause for the brain death to occur, whether it is a severe brain trauma or massive stroke, usually hemorrhage and prolonged cardiac arrest. Sufficient time should have elapsed to ensure irreversibility of the cerebral function. Post cardiac test, post cardiac arrest, 6 hours is a reasonable interval for the diagnosis of the brain death. Absence of cerebral blood flow, that is cerebral blood flow test, is also documents an irreversible process. Patient is unresponsive. We are talking here about cerebral unresponsiveness. Grimacing and other cranial nerve responses are absent except for the cranial nerve 11, that is spinal accessory nerve. Spinal reflexes may be sometimes present, example, spinal withdrawal reflex, and less common spinal movements like fragments of decerebrate posturing, including neck extension, can be seen. The undulating toe sign or Lazarus sign, which are spinal reflexes, can be seen. Lazarus reflexes when a stimulus is given, the person lifts his both the arms and keeps his forearms and wrist over his chest. So that is called as Lazarus sign, and it's one of the spinal reflex. Brainstem reflexes are absent. Pupillary light reflex, pupil should be pupillary light reflexes are absent, and pupil uh, are in the mid position or they are large. Vestibulo-ocular reflex, that is, the eye movements are absent. That is, doll's eyes sign is negative and ice water caloric tests are negative. Okay, so doll's eyes, when the brainstem patient, when the head is moved, the eyes will not be able to maintain their gaze. Okay, so they are going to move with the head, so that is called as doll's eye sign negative. And there will be absence of the nystagmus when you inject water into the ear. And uh, so the corneal reflexes absent, gag and cough reflexes are absent, response to suctioning. Okay, so these are the cordial signs of or absent reflexes in brainstem injury. An apnea test shows no breathing. Prerequisites for these tests are there should be absence of respiratory depressants, whether it is a central nervous system or peripheral. There should be absent hypotension and hypothermia, that is, temperature should not be less than 36 degrees Celsius. Remove the ventilator for at least 10 minutes while giving oxygen by tracheal cannula. Observe closely the breathing. Monitor the blood pressure and oxygen saturation continuously. The apnea test confirms the brain death if the end of the test partial pressure of carbon dioxide is more than 60 mmHg or uh, more than 20 mmHg above the pre-test. If the apnea test cannot be completed, repeat it with better patient preparation or do the cerebral uh, flow test instead. The laboratory tests, they're not required unless clinical diagnosis of the brain death is uncertain. The most commonly performed tests are serum chemistry and toxicology and CT scan of the brain. Please put the laboratory findings in clinical context. Abnormal chemistry or toxicology does not invalidate diagnosis of brain death unless clinical diagnosis is uncertain. Presence of an intoxicant is relevant only if the quantity present would cause intoxication. EEG is very limited value in diagnosis of brain death. However, it is mentioned in some pediatric brain death protocols. Perform cerebral flow study either with catheter angiogram, CT angiogram, MR angiogram, radionuclide study, transcranial Doppler when cranial nerve examination is inhibited by peripheral lesions. The apnea test is invalidated uh, by central or peripheral respiratory depressant drugs, or apnea test cannot be completed due to the hypotension or hypoxia, or brain failure is not clearly due to the irreversible process, or infants under the age of 1 year. 95% of the brain death evaluations do not require cerebral blood flow study. So before you diagnose brainstem death, the essential preconditions are we should know the coma of origin. Okay, so there should be evidence of head trauma or cerebrovascular injury or global cerebral ischemia. And some of the prerequisites, other prerequisites are there should be no hypotension, no severe hypothermia, no coma of metabolic or endocrine origin. There, there should be absence of effect of neurodepressor drugs, neuromuscular blockers, anticholinergic drugs, and no metabolic or endocrine acid-base balance electrolyte disorders. I mean, which can lead to coma. So the conditions required for the neurological examination are there should be adequate oxygenation and ventilation, and cardiorespiratory parameter should be normal. Then the clinical examination should show absence of light reflex, absence of corneal reflex, absence of oculocephalic reflexes, absence of oculovestibular reflexes, absence of nausea and cough reflex. There should be absence of spontaneous breathing. There should be no response to atropine. Sometimes spinal motor responses can be seen, the spinal reflexes and Lazarus sign. The instrumental examination can be done with electroencephalography, four vessel cerebral angiography, transcranial Doppler ultrasonography, brainstem scintigraphy, and brainstem evoked potentials. Okay, so in brainstem death, you'll be able to demonstrate reduced cerebral vessels, and there is a reduced decreased perfusion to the cerebral hemisphere or brainstem, and reduced blood flow in the cranial vessels. Typically, the ECG will demonstrate the flat waves in EEG. Okay, so that is the most cardinal sign of the brainstem death or brain death. Conflictive cases in diagnosis of brain death: neurodepressor drugs, hypothermia, the other causes like severe facial trauma, children, and hemorrhagic shock. So they may they conflict in the diagnosis of the brain death. The importance of brain death diagnosis in organ donation. Okay, so whenever the brain death is diagnosed, the organs can be donated to the recipient, whether it is kidney, the heart, or lungs, or the liver. Okay, and the vitality of the tissue can be maintained by maintaining the respiration and with cardio supporting drugs. That is how the brain death diagnosis will help in the prolonging of the vitality of the organs which are to be donated. So in that matter, so this is going to help a lot in organ donation. So this is all about what is brain death and how it is diagnosed and its importance. Thank you.